Alright, we've got even more new features for ProffieOS 6 to kind of give a sneak peek to. So with ProffieOS 5, we introduced a bunch of the gesture ignition. So you've got your swing on, you've got twist off, we had the thrust on, we had stab on, which is similar to thrust on. So stab on would be a hard kind of an impact, so it's easier to do backwards. And then there's also a twist on in addition. So with all those gestures, it's great, and it gives you the option to have as many ignition options as you want. But one of the things that kind of came about just from everyday usage is that if you wanted to just have, say, your saber hanging on your hip and active, or if you're just using it but you don't want it igniting on its own, the gestures obviously are going to ignite anytime the motion is detected. So you could just be kind of using your saber and then it turns itself on. So what I've come up with now for ProffieOS 6 is a new gesture sleep capability. So the buttons may change, the controls may change just because there's so much coming, but for right now I have it set up. So while your saber's off, you can actually go into gesture sleep, which will deactivate all the gesture ignition. So how I have it is we're going to hold the power button and twist.
Gestures off.
And it says gestures off, and now the gestures are all off, so no matter what I do, the saber won't ignite. And then when you want to activate your gestures back, you're just going to hold power and twist again.
Gestures active.
And now my gestures are active again, so I get all my gesture ignition. So this way, if you want to keep the saber powered on, if you have the, if it's hard to get to your kill key or whatever, but you don't want it igniting, you can use gesture sleep just to put the gesture ignitions all to sleep. So I think it's a helpful feature. It's something I've actually had planned for a while. I just didn't have time to work on it. But now I've got that added and testing and everything. But now another new feature related to that is I've added yet another new mode to edit mode. And we're still not done. So now in edit mode, so I'll put this speaker closer so you can hear.
Edit font, edit track, edit volume, edit blade length, edit gestures.
So now you can edit your gestures from edit mode. And you can toggle which ones you want to have enabled or disabled. So you have swing ignition, twist ignition, thrust ignition, stab ignition, force push, and twist retraction.
Swing ignition.
So swing ignition. So how this menu works is it's going to determine what's active and what's not. So I turn to the one I want. When I hit power, it's going to either say
enabled.
So enabled. So that means that I already have swing ignition enabled. I would just save it if I want to keep it enabled, or you can turn right. It just re-enables it. But if you want to disable, disable will always be turned left. Enable will always be turned right. So if I want to disable it, I'm going to turn left.
Disable.
And then I'll hit save.
Save gesture menu.
So now my swing ignition has been disabled. So now I'm going to back out and just show that.
Cancel main menu. Exit.
So now, no more swing ignition. So I've deactivated swing ignition. Now if I want to put it back, I'll just go back in edit mode.
Edit mode, edit style, edit color, edit font, edit track, edit volume, edit blade length, edit gestures.
So let's edit gestures.
Swing ignition.
So now it's going to tell me when I hit power that it's disabled.
Disabled.
So now if I want to enable it, I'm going to turn right.
Enable.
And that'll enable it. And then I hit save.
Save gesture menu.
So now my swing ignition has been enabled. So
cancel main menu. Exit.
So now I've got my swing ignition back. And you can do that for all the gestures. So you've got, it gives you control to decide which ones you like and which ones you don't like without having to re-upload every time. So sometimes something might be great in theory, but certain hilts have different kind of balance issues, just users how you use it. Typically with the OS 5 prop files, you'd pick and choose which gestures you want, but you have to upload to make that happen. Now with edit mode and OS 6, you'll actually have the ability to choose which ones you want active and which ones you don't, all from the saber, and you can change it at any time without having to re-upload. So it's all going to be saved to the saber. It all uses the menu system to enable and disable. So I still have more testing and everything, but all the functionality is working great. So just to get another new feature of edit mode is going to be that ability now to control all your gestures. right from the saber and decide, you know, on the fly which ones you want to enable, disable. And then that addition of gesture sleep means you can have them all enabled, but you can still put them to sleep and still have your saber hanging from your belt or walking around without it igniting on its own. So just a lot more control over the gestures. Lots of other stuff actually still in the works, but I got this working. I wanted to show it. So lots more coming. Hope you enjoy.